Hey, wait. So let's talk about this real quick before we get started.
Hold on. We're rolling though.
Okay. Well, let's
This will
start
be the
rolling.
bonus content.
Bonus.
All right. Let's talk about this though. But how I face this way, and you two like kind of face each other.
Yeah.
You feel left out?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm like,
Well, you have to contribute more.
so could I do this number here?
You could do that number. Let me see how that looks. Yeah, it looks fine.
I look good.
Yeah.
You think I look good?
You look just, about
Don't
the
make it
same.
weird.
Hey, me looking good is not weird.
Jason, he's our friend. Don't make him feel weird.
But make strangers look feel weird.
He has no problem. Yesterday, listen, I have to break. We're driving. He's in the Jeep. We're feeling good. It's a beautiful day, whatever. He's got the top off. And
I don't know where you're going.
okay, he turns and he barks at this lady. Straight barks. And I had no idea what was going on. The kids are in the back seat. They're like, no, like literally.
That's awesome.
So he does make a stranger
Wait, no,
feel
you
very
got to
weird.
finish the story.
That was it.
You looked at me and you're like, what did you just do? I was like, I barked.
Yeah, like it was normal.
Wow. I was like, because she had a dog hanging out in the back. So I barked at the
it's a
dog, not the
dog.
lady. It's a total difference.
No, there's not a total difference.
Yes, it is. Like, obviously, she knows I'm not barking at her.
It was random.
Who's the guy that barks? Is it DMX?
Oh.
Yeah. Because
I meant, I heard that's how it was.
my favorite DMX song was playing.
Oh, casual little bark there.
Oh, a little. It
Yeah.
just reminds me of, oh, man. I get angry thinking about this, but like Georgia fans, not that I'm against Georgia, Bulldogs, whatever, and it's cool. They've got their thing going right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, they bark. These are like grown men. You go up there and like, instead of like roll tide, they're like, "Arr!"
So now
like
you have a problem with barking.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's.
I've never heard this.
I don't know. I mean, there's like this sportsman type thing, but then they get like all like puffed up and they're all excited about it. And these grown men are barking at each other, and it's just, I don't know, it kind of drives me crazy.
It looks like it's rubbing off on you anyway. So.
I'm barking at dogs, okay? where my dog's at.
I think it was funny. All right.
So yeah, let me do
you
this.
driving?
I'm driving this car
Let's
today.
go.
Hey,
By
let's
the
go.
way,
Right.
that's the intro. So
yeah. Oh, that's it. Okay.
we're rolling.
We're
so-
rolling.
We're
There
barking.
we go.
We're barking, baby.
Yeah.
So Jason, lots of silliness going on. Jason's going to drive this pod today.
Yes. Good morning, spoon-fed folks.
Ooh, the folks.
Spoon-fed folks.
Yeah.
That's right. All
He was
those.
like, I'm not sure what's going
All
on.
those who want to be fed by a spoon.
So I'm going to take over
Open
now.
up. Open up.
Nope.
Open up.
Nope. We're dishing out knowledge from spoons into your mouth
Okay.
by the full.
Here comes the choo-choo.
It's so good.
Hey,
All
so
right.
no, we feel good. Like we said in our last podcast, and I'm driving this.
I'm
for real.
fine.
So I mean, I drove here.
All right, go.
Okay, so I'm gonna drive
All right,
the cast,
go.
the pod. What should we call this? When we're kind of like
Jason.
hanging out, like, hey, you want to go to the pod today?
Usually the pod is like the
That's the,
pod.
yeah.
cool thing. That's what the kids are saying.
All right, here we go. So you ready? We just feel good. I'm sorry. I mean,
All right,
it's
well,
been
go.
great. So we had an event
Feed
go
'em.
off. We had some things going on.
Yep.
Anyway, so we have some momentum, some great momentum, right? The ups and downs we talk about. So our tires are out of the mud, right? We're on the highway.
The last podcast, the last recording that we talked about, we had some really big movement.
That's right.
And so we've had a lot of movement continuing, and that's what we want to talk about.
Yeah, that reminded me of one time I was mud bogging.
Mud bogging?
Yes, I love mud bogging. By the way, this is or some people call it mudding.
Yeah.
Those people are not my friends.
You got to have the bog.
Mud bogging. Okay, I know. Hey, this is irrelevant. This is relevant. This ties
This
in.
is irrelevant.
I'll call it for what it is. This is irrelevant. All right. So I was mud bogging, and it was on Christmas time, and I went to see my parents, and I wanted to show off a little bit. I had this Jeep for maybe a week. I hadn't even paid its first payment yet. I was feeling good, right? And so I threw my sisters in the back. I was back at home where I'm from. There's a lot of dirt roads. I knew the best ones, right? So I'm going down the dirt roads, and I'm like, hey, y'all watch this, right? Always great thing to do. And there's a ditch on the side. There's water rushing through it. And so I kind of like hit it a little bit to splash it. Well, the road gives way because it is a dirt road, right? And it goes into the ditch. And so does the Jeep, right? Now, water starts to come in the Jeep. Okay. Now we're having to bail out the driver's side, because the passenger side is in water and the Jeep is in water, and then it's just great times, great fun. But then you hear all these like stories like, don't turn off the Jeep because then the water will go up into the engine and it will be dead, and you can never recover your Jeep. And where am I going with this?
You did say it was irrelevant, so
it is irrelevant. But we were talking about mud bogging. No, my point was, I guess. Listen, okay. I got the Jeep out of the mud. It was a great time, but it was very scary at the time, and I felt like life was doom and gloom, right? Yeah. But now I feel like, it was
imagery for
right. But once we were out, once somebody came and yanked us out and pulled us out, life was grand. Right, I felt so good. I was back on the highway, and I was like, "Yeah, look at the mud on that baby." Yeah.
So that is actually a pretty good,
parallel here.
Parallel, like there were some scars there. You were kind of proud of it a little bit.
Scratches.
Everything was fine, but you were proud of it. And I think, listen, we're not in any sort of place to say we have accomplished anything really. I guess. We have our to-do list, but we are. We've trekked some mud, I guess you could say, and we're in a good place now. Yep. So, let's talk about that place. Let's talk about, last episode we talked about, we got an investment deal.
Yep.
Moving forward with that, there's like some key pieces that we're working through. We'll talk about that too for anyone trying to build a business, anyone trying to move through it with some funding support. And then we had a big event on Saturday, this past Saturday, Easter weekend. So, so let's talk about leading up to that, because the last time we talked here, we really felt like, can we pull it off? Even until maybe the event.
The Easter thing.
Did we talk about the Easter thing?
We said that we were going to do it.
We said we were going to do it.
And then it was like, but how are we going to do it?
But how?
We don't even know how we did it.
So
did you do it?
We did do it.
Okay.
We did do it.
We did do it. And so there were several things that we had to figure out. Okay?
Wait. We didn't do it. God did it.
God did show out. I do have to say.
Yeah, he is risen.
That's the truth.
Say it.
And on all weekend, he is risen indeed.
Nah.
There we go. Of all weekends, right? There could have been a million other weekends for us to do this. And it felt just very divine, I guess, not to over spiritualize it, because I want to be very careful to do that. But this has been a very faithful journey for us. And so we've been very honest about that. But all that to say, there were many, many things that had to come together. There were many people that just showed up out of the blue. For example, we'd love to have her on the podcast, so I hope that's going to work out. But her name is Lucia. And
shout out to Lucia.
Shout out Lucia. She does Twisted for Sugar, Nashville.
That's right.
Twisted for Sugar. It's like a cotton candy cart.
Yep.
And Jason met her. Well, let me back up a little bit, because the first piece of trying to get our presence at this party was we had to get some kind of cart.
Right.
We didn't have an ice cream cart. We didn't have any mobile kind of ice cream equipment.
Right.
We didn't even have the right freezers to freeze the ice cream.
Right.
So we were going back and forth on, okay, let's rent a soft serve machine and do soft serve there. And then that didn't work out. And we were going on all these different avenues. So we're like, okay, let's do ice cream sandwiches. And then you have to buy all this equipment to do ice cream sandwiches.
Yeah, so wait, hold on. Well, let me interject real quick. We were going to rent a lot of stuff. In today's day and age, you can rent anything.
Yeah.
You can rent a kid if you wanted to rent a kid.
Right.
I mean, we didn't look for renting a kid, but I'm so sorry. But listen, but no, yeah, it was costing us a lot, all the stuff that we had to rent just to represent ourselves. And it was just like, hey, what are we doing?
Yeah. And, I think that it was, so we called an event company and said, okay, we just need to rent a cart. And she's like, we have this market cart, it's $500. And I'm like, dang, that's a lot, but okay, it's for the business, right? It's for this, we'll put all we got to do, into this thing. And then she was like, it's $125 to deliver it, and then $125 to pick it up. I'm like, it's $700. Just, it's insanity. So we booked it, and then Jason was like, we got to be better stewards of our money, of course, if we're, going into business with, people we trust and that trust us. Like, this isn't a wise choice.
So then we booked it the other way.
So then we canceled. But he met Lucia through another event, another client.
Yep.
And she just happened to, say, I have a cotton candy cart and I have an extra one. You can borrow it. And so we didn't have to pay anything. It was like just a beautiful, God intervention.
So she had an extra cart. And so what she, to kind of clarify that up a little bit, and I mean, again, shout out to Lucia. Woo-hoo, go check her out. But she started off with cotton candy. I think it was cotton candy.
She did, yeah.
It was cotton candy. Going to these events, and she just had a basic white cart, and so she would serve cotton candy. But then she customizes it to all these parties, and so like let's say you're having a pink party, and so she's putting like pink lettering, and then she finds out what you like, and she customizes the menu of like cotton candy for what you like, and so she has these basic carts, and she said have an extra cart, it's just a big white cart.
Yeah.
And she says you can use it, and then I'll put the word ice cream on the outside, and then I'll even make you a custom
menu board
and all that. Awesome. And so she really came through in many, many aspects and solved a lot of problems for us. So
she did. And so from there, we were able to sort of focus on the ice cream. That was challenging too. Jason had a really great idea of putting popsicles in plastic eggs. And so, of course, I was like, how can we make them yellow and
stick
make
them on
sure
sticks.
and put them on sticks? Yeah. So we had chicks on a stick. So I found these Easter eggs that look like chicks, and I just love cheeky stuff like that.
Chickens, by the way.
Yeah. No one was okay.
I'm just making
Family
sure.
podcast, Jason.
Hey, you could get chicks.
Okay. So the challenge though with those, so we had to like figure out the best popsicle recipe that also would freeze correctly, and then there was holes all over the thing. And so you had to like tape the holes, insert the stuff with a medicine syringe.
Nice.
Like, I mean, it took like a lot of trial and error.
Right.
And we didn't even know the day of, like, if it was going to work. Because once they freeze, it's like, okay, well, they're frozen shut. So you got to sit them out for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But we had to get our kids. So we had family in town. It was spring break for our kids. So we had family in town, and our nieces and nephews, they're kind of picky, right? Like, we're not sure if they're going to. So if they like the popsicles, then any kid will like the popsicles. Right. So that was sort of our test, our litmus. But so we had chicks on sticks all over our house, just like, making it work however we could. We borrowed a deep freezer from a friend to get some extra freezer space. And then the ice cream, I mean, we had a couple different recipes that we were going to go with. And finally, Jason was like, I think we need to do a carrot cake. We were going to do, what were we going to do? It was like oat milk, something.
We were going to do, am I going to say this?
Say it.
We were going to put Peeps in ice cream. And call it Peep Show.
Nice. For the kids.
But I was like, you can't hand that out to kids.
Yeah, so we were getting creative. I was like, okay, we got to like tighten up a little bit. Yeah. So anyway, last minute, he was like, why don't we just do carrot cake? Yep. And the ingredients didn't come in because we don't have, these big contracts with ingredient companies or whatever. So I had to call my people from ice cream school and like, hey, what's the best non-dairy, ingredients that you found or recipe or whatever.
We needed something surefire.
Yeah.
And at that time, I mean, again, we are launching a soft serve brand.
Right.
And we didn't have any equipment and or ability to launch a soft serve brand at this point because we don't. But we still have to show. We have to still show ourselves, right? I mean, so somehow.
Well, it's like you have to do it all in what was it, like 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
It was 2 weeks, yeah.
But we had to find like how are we going to represent ourselves, but without the product that we actually have, without the brand we actually have. So all right, good problems.
Yeah,
all very good problems.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We're sitting there praying for something. Now we have something. Now it sounds like we're complaining. We're not complaining. We're showing the hurdles that it came through. And I mean, honestly, looking back on it now, I enjoyed every bit of that.
Every bit. Yeah, for sure.
That was really fun.
There was some, it's like, if you love what you're doing, you never work a day in your life. People were like, are you so stressed? Can I help you with this? Can I help you? People were so kind. But we just had this like unending energy. We really did. He would come home from work and we would start on recipe development
now,
and,
there were
doing
nights,
batches.
But there were nights we had to kind of like center ourselves. But hey, you know what? We got to remember.
Yeah.
this is fun.
Yeah.
Because you can get overwhelmed and say this is a problem.
You can get wrapped up.
And
sure.
we had to remind ourselves, like, again, this is actually fun. This is what we asked for. Again, it's never going to go the way that you pictured in your head.
Right.
And I guess when we pictured in our head, we were just going to like get this wad of cash, and then we were going to go buy what we thought we needed, and then we were going to show up with our brand and just start going. And I mean, obviously, you do what you need to do to survive, but
well,
except for sushi,
it became what?
Sushi.
Oh, you're
sushi
talking about
donuts. Come on,
pivoting.
reversing back. Let's go back.
What became really clear over the time was that it wasn't about our business. It was about the product.
Yep.
And we have been so focused on brand. That's very important too. But for this specific application, it was not about that. And so, we were trying to get a logo done and like stickers and things like that. And it's like, okay, we got to back off. They just asked us to do ice cream, and let's just do ice cream. So in the end, looking back, it all fit in the party. It felt very natural. It wasn't a salesy kind of thing. Anyway, backing up, I kind of wanted to give a timeline of how things went down, because it really was like things that we didn't know we needed to pray for just kind of came through. So the ingredients came on Friday, like the day before, and we had to pay for expedited shipping, but there was just holds on everything. I don't know what was going on with the different ingredients and stuff, but
we really didn't like solidify what we needed.
Right.
We knew we wanted to do.
Yeah.
But we didn't solidify what we needed until Tuesday. But then you got to order it and ship it and yes.
Yeah. So there was just a lot of trial and error. So anyway, it came like 11th hour on Friday, and then we stayed up Friday night and was just praying that it would freeze the way it needed to, soft enough, to scoop,
right.
Or with spoons, and it was perfect. It really was on Saturday morning. And then so our babysitter called out, got sick,
nice.
Of course, which is our sister-in-law, or my sister-in-law. So,
just come anyway, get our kids sick.
Right. So thankfully, two of them went to play dates. Thankfully, we've got good friends, but so our oldest came with us, and it was fine. I mean, his clients encouraged that,
right.
But anyway, we kind of like to be professional, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that, it was a kid party, but she did great. She was helping. It was wonderful. So we have this cart. We show up. The cart is already set up for us. She put the letters on it. She did everything. And all we had to do was just bring our cooler, which I just love to point out that it's a big Bud Light cooler.
Nice. Perfect timing for that.
So it was given to Jason.
It is perfect timing.
Don't tell Kid Rock.
So it was just it looked janky, right? Like it could be,
right.
But
no, it was monochromatic Bud Light. Okay. I mean, it said it, but it was like risen. It wasn't like in white, the cooler was all blue.
Okay, but still, I mean, it was still like,
okay, I don't know.
I love that you're trying to find the positives here.
From afar, it looked like a blue box.
But I'm like handing kids popsicles from this big Bud Light cooler.
Awesome.
It was the contrast.
Could they see you like getting it out of there?
No.
Oh, okay,
it was hidden behind the cooler.
Yeah.
Behind. At least you weren't handing a peep show from the
But
Bud Light.
it was great. It really was good. And the popsicles froze the way they needed to. They thawed perfectly. Awesome. And it was a big hit. It really was. So we were really happy to have accomplished it, but then like ready for more, So, people are like, can we book you for parties? Not at the party, but
right.
other people, know. I'm like, soon. Yeah, we'll be ready soon. So, we're excited to have it done, and we know how to get things done quickly, but now it's time to really buckle down on getting the business open. And we said Memorial Day.
When is
LOL.
Memorial Day?
When?
It's
I never
May.
know.
It's the one in May.
We're going to do it.
Okay.
Even if it's going to be a bicycle with a Bud Light cooler on the back.
Happy.
No.
Great.
We're going to do it. We're going to have Bud Light flavored. Nobody would buy it.
No. Don't get crazy.
Just because it says Bud Light.
Yeah. No. So yeah, we've got some milestones that we have to hit.
Yeah.
But, it's time to really be grateful for the opportunities that we've had and accomplished, and then, look at the next. So
That's right.
So what is next? Where are we at?
From a business standpoint, I mean, something that kind of hit us that we didn't really think about, that wasn't on our radar, is that when we struck up this deal, are we going there?
Yeah.
Am I driving this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like driving.
Back in the driver's seat.
That's right.
Don't blow
Feels
it.
good.
Don't blow it.
Hey, y'all, watch this.
Jason. You've made me absolutely crazy.
I know, dude. I can see you boiling over there. It's gonna be a
Can
fun
you
ride
please
home.
just talk? Just talk.
All right. Yeah. So the it kind of hit us from the side, like when we struck up this deal. We're like, okay, let's drop the contract. You want your lawyers or my lawyers to do it? I'm like, oh, yeah. I'll have
we don't have lawyers.
I'll have my lawyers do it. Want to sound professional, right? So we start reaching out, like,
Rocket lawyer.
Well, I mean, that's not a cheap venture in itself.
Right.
I mean, that in itself is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
That sets you up. That sets you up for success and like for what this is going to be, it protects you. And so, I mean, like we had a great relationship. We still have a great relationship with, those who are investing, but,
we didn't want to say, okay, well, you're agreed to move forward with us on this. You get your people to do it.
Right.
It was like, no, we got to come to the table, and so that's what we had to do. We had to find. We have a friend who knows, legal people, attorneys, and
people.
who does business contracts. And so anyway, we just called them. Said, okay, this is what we're trying to do. It takes a little longer than we expected. Costs a little more than we thought.
Yeah.
But, it was just something that we were like, okay, this has to happen in order for us to move forward, So God pulled through on that.
but we're still in the middle of that. I mean,
Right.
you'd think that, hey, this is what we're going to do. You type it up. You have a lawyer emboss it or whatever lawyers do. I'm like, I didn't know. I had no clue. Whatever. And then people sign it and we all shake hands and we go our separate ways. But it's totally not that. It's several conversations. Okay, then there's this and there's that. Then you have to classify it as this. And you have to classify it as that. And so just kind of, they're walking us through the process, but it's definitely a process that we did not have on our radar at all. I mean, yeah.
And of course, they're looking to protect us, which is, great. We love that.
Right.
But we also really want to be very respectful
Yep.
and not listen, we are the ones that will be footing the bill, at the end of the day. So they're looking at our best interest, which is the way it needs to be. We appreciate that.
Right.
But we're kind of like, just whatever they want us to do, we'll do whatever,
Yeah.
And so they're just making sure that it's just a fair deal and it will be, and, those kinds of things have to be legal. But anyway, so so it makes us feel official, I guess you could say. It's like, we got lawyers,
Look at you guys.
That's right. You want to meet our legal team?
Yeah. Talk to our people.
They're actually in the car. They went mud bogging with us earlier.
oh dear. So that's what we're doing. And then what's really also fun. Okay, so we had a logo. We spent a lot of money on a logo 2 years ago.
And then we had to let go of the logo.
Hey, this guy.
I've tried. That was a hard one. That was a stretch.
Okay. They're all a stretch, actually.
Oh,
so,
come on. Hey, do my morning stretches.
Okay.
Ta-da.
So
I'm on a
you
roll
encourage
today.
him.
Yeah.
You really encourage him. So they're getting involved in the creative part of it, which we really, really like.
Right.
Because people like to be a part of something that they help create. And we've recognized that. So, we weren't offended in any
They
way.
being the investors.
The investors, sorry.
Not the lawyers.
Right.
That's right.
So, we did. So we'll kind of talk about this a little bit. So obviously the name of the brand is Lightbox.
Preaches this.
And it has been the name since the beginning. It was a conviction that we felt out of the Sermon on the Mount, God or Jesus saying, believers are to be salt and light. And that's even how we came up with the idea of ice cream,
Right.
because ice cream used to have to be
ingredient
made is light
Oh, sorry, salt.
and salt. It used to be.
No. Well,
Not ingredient. It used to be
You need the salt to kind of help freeze it, and then the
Correct.
light is because it's lighthearted and fun and blah blah blah.
Delightful, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was sort of a literal thing. So that's how we were like, what if we did ice cream, right? And we were in church. Like, I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to make it over, spiritualized, but you have to feel that conviction to feel sure of anything, right? And so that's when we were like, okay, it's this, and it's Lightbox, and what is a Lightbox? Why a Lightbox? And I had the answers for all of it. Like it really just came, and it sort of evolved over time. But for us, it is a very deep, meaningful thing. And for someone else coming in, they're like, well, can we change the name?
Yeah.
Would you be open to that? And of course, at first you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
why are we going there?
Right.
Like,
But
yes.
okay, in the food industry,
Yeah.
I have a term called the ugly baby syndrome.
Yes. Everybody has that term.
Do they? Is that a normal thing?
I've never heard of it.
What does it
okay.
mean? What does it mean, Elo?
I have no idea. It's the first time hearing it.
Okay, everybody. Lawyers, legal
fine.
team. Can I say this?
Just assuming that's what your parents said
Okay.
about you.
Yeah.
Well, that's essentially what it is, right? So when you're creating food, okay, when I was teaching young chefs and all that, and they put up this food, and they were so proud to drop it off, which you want them to be proud of. It's very cool. Yeah. But you also want them to be open-minded. It's like, hey, you're proud of this
Because you
mainly
made it.
because you made it,
Right.
You're proud of this because you put it together, and you're proud of yourself for, putting this together. But you got to put that to the side and really say, is this quality? I mean, is this something that, is it salted enough? Blah, blah, all the other stuff. So, I mean, kind of like your children. You made it. You're excited about it. Hey, look at this. It's the best looking baby in the world, right? And then someone's like, oh, it's a cute baby. Oh, this baby is ugly.
Yep.
So the ugly baby syndrome. All right. So, I mean, that was kind
It's
of like.
cute because it's yours.
We had to remember, like, we made Lightbox. So we wanted to make sure that, like, we really like it. But let's test it. I mean, let's throw it against the wall and let's see,
We were challenged, and we appreciated it, honestly. In other seasons of our life, I think it would have offended us.
Yeah.
And I think we would have been very defensive. And those feelings weren't really, we weren't tempted by those feelings. So we gave it 72 hours. We're like, okay, you know what? Let's find a better name.
Yeah.
I had just ran across a brand, Poppy. It's like it's a soda. What is it? Cultured soda. So it's like live. It's like good for your gut.
Like kombucha.
I'm losing
It's
you.
kind of like kombucha.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a new brand. It's really fun. But Poppy was on Shark Tank.
Okay.
It was not Poppy when they were pitching it. It was called Mother because of the cultures in it and, all of the microbiome stuff. But the branding was not
Yeah.
great. So what they did though, when they got an investor, is they changed it to Poppy, changed the branding, changed the look, everything. It was still the same product, but they changed it to be more marketable.
Right.
And so of course, it is what it is. And so I had just come across that and I thought, okay, well, if this is, the mother in that situation, how much better could it be with these people being involved? So anyway, we really did have open minds and open hearts. And we went through the weekend, we prayed, we read, we devoured words and just like, okay, what is a better word? And how can we, and we honestly just could not come up with a better one. Yeah. And neither could they.
And we've also been going through this process for a very long time. I mean, like even when Lightbox came about, it's just like, okay, is that it? What if we called it this? What if we called it that? And so like there was a lot of that at the early stages of Lightbox. So.
Right. And I think for us, it's also just it doesn't end with ice cream. Like it really is just a starting point. And so we see there is a lot of versatility in it for, other situations. So anyway, so we all agreed, okay, Lightbox is a name, but let's look at the logo. Let's change it. Let's freshen it up a little bit. So that's what we're doing right now. We're almost to the point where we have it, which is, I think we're really excited about and really glad that they were able to get involved and say, hey, let's get some, let's change it up a little bit. So
That probably helps them too, just feel more like
involved, Yeah, exactly. Like you want to say, yeah, I helped create that.
Right.
You feel more passionate about it if you are involved in those early stages,
And they want to be involved with help promoting it. And so it's going to help them be.
It still has to resonate with them too. We want them to be proud of it too.
Yeah.
So, I think that we're in a good place. We're excited about getting that nailed down. And it really is just about finding a location or a truck at this point, once the contract is all set up. So we looked at a local truck. There's a pie shop locally that had a truck for sale. And so we looked at that, and the kids came, and it was a lot of fun. It just wasn't the right fit for us.
Right.
But so that's what we're doing, shopping.
That's awesome. That's fun.
So if you have a truck you want to donate to the cause,
Yeah, all the folks out there.
please check the like button and then donate below.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Is that how that works?
The truck fund.
The truck fund. So that's what we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully the next time that we're chatting this up, we'll be saying, hey, I'm spending some money.
Got a truck.
Okay. Just bought this. Just bought that. And
We will pod live from the podcast
live.
parlor
Yeah.
in the truck.
Oh yeah,
Right.
podcast parlor coming soon.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. You can talk and eat your ice cream at the same time. Wait.
Okay. So Jason's not going to lead anymore.
It sounded so much better in my head.
Yeah.
did all right.
I think they all do. So that's all the updates I feel like we have, right?
And that's right. We just you should have a mouthful. We just spoon fed you.
You should have them.
Mouthful.
You should be full of us by now. Are you fed up?
Brain freeze.
Yeah.
Because ice cream.
People are fed up.
Okay. This is awkward.
I just wonder if we can make it more awkward. Like,
Probably. Jason?
I'm the king of awkward. I really do say. I mean, I do break the ice sometimes. Hey, I'm very
I
awkward.
love it. I do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will be back, and hopefully our friend Lucia will be able to join us so she can kind of talk about her journey too, because
Yeah.
it's really interesting. It's really interesting. So, okay. Well, stay hungry.
Yeah.
We're out.
Stay fed.